Hello, my Windows artists. First of all, congratulations on being accepted into the program. I'm really proud of you, and I'm really proud of how hard you worked on your shoe drawings to get into this program. So we're going to try to meet every Wednesday in a quick Zoom meeting just to touch base, but I also will be attaching a video each week. Some people can't join us because of so many different schedules on Wednesdays, but I just wanted to make sure everybody had thorough instructions beyond our Zoom meetings. This first assignment is going to be drawing a black and white pencil only animal, and I want you to be really looking at the details of the animal. I want you to find an animal, a black and white photograph or picture on the internet. This is Georgia, of any kind of animal. It's best if you find a black and white picture already. It's difficult to do a black and white shaded picture of a color photograph, but it is possible. So if you can't find a black and white photo, that's okay. I would really recommend trying to. Interestingly, I took a photo of my dog, this dog here, and that's what I'm going to be drawing for you guys in a little bit. So your first job is to find a photograph or image of a black and white version of an animal, a real animal, not a cartoon. And you are going to be looking at it. We're going to call this observational drawing. So just like when you had your shoe in front of you, you're going to be looking at this photograph and then drawing what you see as realistically as you can. You want to look at proportions, making sure things look the correct size compared to other parts of the animal. Shading is important, and you're really going to be practicing shading in this project, in this lesson, because you're only using pencil, and the only way to show different tones or colors of your animal would be to shade them darker or lighter. Okay, I'm going to be popping up an image right here to show you that you can break the drawing down. So I found an image of, I'm not even sure which animal it is, but I'm going to pop it up here, and you can see how this particular artist broke it down. I think it was a squirrel. So this particular artist broke it down into shapes, and just to get the general idea of spacing and size. And then, sorry about that, my phone rang in the middle of my video. So anyway, we're looking at the how to draw a squirrel sheet. You see the artist did some shapes, started connecting them, started adding details, and then at the end added a little bit of shading. We're gonna add a little bit more shading. So the next thing you're going to see is a photograph of my dog Georgia. I actually took a regular photograph and turned it black and white, and then I start looking at it, putting some shapes kind of to get an idea of the placement of her from photograph onto my paper, onto my sketchbook, and then I'll kind of talk you through what I'm doing, and then I'll do a time lapse so it speeds it up, and then we'll kind of address it at the end again. Okay, all right, I'm super excited to show you my Georgia drawing. It's sloppy, and that's okay, because that's kind of what we're starting with, and then I cannot wait to see what you do. One more thing I just remembered. When you're done with your drawing, and I want you to take only 30 minutes to an hour, I'll explain that when I show you my drawing, you're going to be putting it up in the stream. Now, I've told you guys, my 4th and 5th graders, not to do that with your regular assignments because things get loaded in the stream. I don't always see them. People make comments. I actually turned all that off, which some of you are wondering why you can't comment anymore. It's because a lot of people were saying hello and all these things, and that's not what my streams are for. So in the stream here, you're going to put your drawing up as your assignment, and we are going to open it up as a critique for your fellow Windows artists to make comments on. Now, we have done critiques in the past, but if you don't remember, a critique is when you are talking about somebody's artwork We are never going to use really negative words because that's not necessary. It's also not nice. There's no reason to not be nice to somebody's artwork. We are going to be constructive, meaning we can give maybe suggestions for this person. So here are the 3 things you can think of. You can do a praise. So you can say, I really like that you added so much shading around the face. It looks realistic. You could do a question. You have a question about, what did you do in this part of the ear? How does it look like that? You can ask some sort of a question for that project. The 3rd thing would be to give a suggestion. So this way you could be like, I think maybe you might want to add a little bit more shading, you know, underneath to show that it's definitely has some shadow under there. You can say things like that in a nice, constructive way. You heard how I just said it, and it's often how I'll say things to you guys. I love what you're doing. I think, do you want to try adding a little bit more shadow? See what that does to your image. That's what I want you guys to do. And it's actually really an important process as an artist to have other people talking about your artwork and you talking about other people's artwork, not just me. Okay, I'm not the person in this group. Georgia dropped her bone. Okay, so I'll remind you all of this in the Zoom tomorrow. We're gonna go into the Georgia drawing in just a moment. Stay tuned, and I can't wait to see what you guys do.
All right, boys and girls, so I have my sketchbook placed horizontally, sideways, because that's the image my dog is kind of facing in the picture, and I'm going to just lightly start sketching with just my pencil. So I'm gonna start pretty big in the center, and I'm sketching lightly. I'm gonna start with maybe some just basic shapes, just to kind of get her face, okay? You will see that basically, you know, when you're starting with an image that you're sketching, you just wanna go very, very lightly so that you can change things as you go. So I'm just kind of curving her face in. This is not going to be perfect. You know, I'm sketching. I want you guys to take maybe 30 minutes to an hour tops. I don't expect this to be perfect. I just want to have you looking at your photograph and just kind of drawing from observation. And black and white is a little bit harder to draw, right? So you're just getting some sketches in there. So you are going to keep looking at your picture as you draw. Try to add some basic shapes in as you go. Erase what you need to. Okay. And you don't want to work for a really long time on one piece because you might want to move it or change it later. Placement is often kind of difficult, especially if you're drawing something that's symmetrical. So you want to try to keep it light until you really like what you've drawn, and then you can go back in and make it a little bit darker. Her ears are very floppy, so I'll try to get that in over here. Her head. And you see how I'm just lightly sketching? I'm not doing anything perfect. Lots of room to erase and to change it later if I need to. Okay. Her body kind of goes off the picture, off the page. She's got some hair there. Can always add her collar in later. Her paw is flopped under her ear. So I took a regular colored photo of her and switched it to black and white. So that's why you see some of these details might be a little bit harder to see. But like we mentioned before, taking a black and white photograph is much easier to draw in black and white than it would be to take a colored photograph and try to draw it in black and white. other leg is here, but you kind of can't see it because of the blanket. So what I'm going to do, boys and girls, is I'm going to continue to draw this, but on a fast forward, a little bit of a time lapse so that you can see me add some details and go from there. Okay, boys and girls, so you can see I've worked for a little while on it. I've added, as in these areas, a little bit of a darker shading with my pencil. I just press a little bit harder. I'm looking constantly at the picture of my dog to see what areas look darker, what areas look lighter, looking at shapes. I kind of break the picture apart a little bit and try to see, okay, I see a kind of a line coming down from her eye into her nose. I see that this is curved. I'm very sketchy with my drawing. Like you can see, it's very sloppy, but as I go in and add detail, I can make it neater and neater. So take your time. I would say spend 30 minutes to an hour sketching, adding shading, looking at your picture that you're drawing constantly. Keep looking at it as a reference point and as observation. And then I want you to just keep adding details, shading, and try to get some of those areas, the areas that are really dark, get them dark. The areas that are light, you can leave them a little bit lighter with your pencil. Have fun. I can't wait to see them when they're done. When you feel like you're done, I would stop after an hour. Don't go more than an hour. When you're all done, put it up in the stream in our Google Classroom, and we can critique each other and make suggestions. Okay, thank you.